Hey, I'm Tymerah.
And I'm Samira.
And we're
breaking it down.
Breaking It Down is a segment where we come together to research a topic and we give you the background, facts, and statistics.
Today, we're going to break down voter suppression and how it applies in today's elections.
Voter suppression is a strategy used to influence the outcome of an election by discouraging or preventing people from exercising the right to vote.
Laws like the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was created to stop voter suppression. This law specifically prohibits racial discrimination in voting and gave black people the unrestricted right to vote.
But voter suppression is still a problem, and the historic Voting Rights Act has been under attack.
The 2013 Supreme Court decision in the Shelby v. Holder case increased voting restrictions while decreasing the amount of federal oversight on elections.
Experts predict this decision will lead to a new era of voter suppression.
One historic voter suppression tactic that is still active today is gerrymandering.
Gerrymandering is when minority groups are being pushed out into one or fewer districts to make space for the majority to have an influence on the election. Gerrymandering tends to diminish the voting power of black and brown communities by dividing them.
Voter suppression tactics mostly have to do with the issues of access, by making it difficult for certain people to have access to voting.
Things as simple as changing polling hours, locations, election days, and the number of polling places affects people's access to voting.
The absence of multilingual voter assistance also makes it difficult for non-English speakers to vote.
Poll places that are not wheelchair accessible exclude the disabled community.
In most states, incarcerated people have their voting rights temporarily or permanently taken away. That means that 5.8 million people are disenfranchised or unable to vote because of a felony conviction. For example, in Kentucky, shoplifting could permanently remove an individual's right to vote.
1 of every 13 black people have lost their voting rights due to felony disenfranchisement laws, versus 1 in every 56 non-black voters. The 19th Project and Project Vote are 2 organizations fighting to restore voting rights for these people.
One of the most common tactics of voter suppression that is being enforced today are photo ID laws.
That's right. For example, House Bill 934 in Pennsylvania is a new law being considered by the Senate that will require all voters to show a photo ID at the polls.
Supporters of these laws say that if we need an ID to go on a plane, we should need an ID to vote. The stated intent of presenting a photo ID is to prevent voter fraud.
So they just want to know exactly who is voting for safety purposes?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, James Baker, former Secretary of State, wrote that the electoral system cannot inspire public confidence if no safeguards exist to deter or detect fraud or to confirm the identity of voters.
In theory, this sounds like a great way to stop voter fraud. However, when put into practice, the impact is on marginalized people, and their votes are affected disproportionately. This includes low-income and working-class people, students, people of color, disabled people, and immigrant populations.
A new study by political scientists at the University of California at San Diego found that a strict photo ID law could be expected to depress Latino turnout by 9.3 points, Black turnout by 8.6 points, and Asian American turnout by 12.5 points.
Racial justice advocates argue that photo ID laws are not about preventing voter fraud, which according to studies rarely happens, but rather about making it difficult for certain groups of people to vote.
So what policies are voting rights advocates pushing for?
One argument is to expand early voting and make Election Day a federal holiday. This way it allows people to vote early, which can help reduce pressures on Election Day. If hourly wage earners didn't have to worry about losing pay while they wait in long lines to vote, this would increase the voter turnout.
Another effort voting rights advocates push for is the monitoring of bills to make sure our voting rights are protected. In 2015, Project Vote was able to monitor 315 bills. They also joined citizens and other advocates demanding the votes' right protections are restored.
Don't think that you can't do anything to help make a difference. The first step to protecting your rights is knowing them. Be sure to research the voting laws in your area so you know where to start.
And you don't have to be the only one fighting to protect your rights. You can talk to your neighbors and join an organization that has your back when it comes to your right to vote.
Also talk to your legislators and let them know that you and your community are watching to ensure that your rights are protected.
Fighting for voters and their rights has been a long battle since the beginning of this country. And we hope that this segment has shown that the struggle for equal voting rights for all continues today.
Being aware is the first step to making a change. We hope that you'll take our information into consideration and get involved.
I'm Samira.
And I'm Tymerah.
And we just broke it down.